Believe me, I'd have to go and lie down in a darkened room if I tried proper party catering. But for children's birthdays or lazy summer gatherings, I've found a way of providing food while still enjoying the party. Any good party has to involve a lot of standing around, gossiping and picking for food. So you do need good picking food. And this is kind of my favourite of all those. I am loath to use the word dip, but in effect this is what it is. It's from Piedmont. It's called bagna cauda. And what it is a sort of velvety gunge, a mixture of melted down anchovies, garlic, olive oil and butter. And it's so wonderful with raw vegetables, mostly I think things like cauliflower, chicory, radish, something sort of peppery. I'm going to use 4 cloves of garlic. I mean, it could be 3, it could be 5, but these things are not crucial. Just minced in. And it is important that the garlic goes into cold oil because you want everything to melt down and you want it to be soft. You're trying to get a sort of an emulsion. And try and get anchovy fillets that have been preserved in olive oil. I usually use about 12. I can't honestly say I'm bothered to count them all, but I reckon a tin must be about 12. I'm going to keep the oil in this tin, however, because there's something about the oil that anchovies have been steeped in. It's so wonderful. I love it particularly, sort of drizzled over just plain boiled new potatoes. But I do also have a neurotic inability to throw anything away, and I don't necessarily want to pass that on to you. Okay, so just chop these fairly finely. I mean, be patient about this because it does make it easier for them to kind of meld and melt into the garlicky oil. Okay, so the anchovies are in the garlic and the olive oil, so I'm just going to keep the heat fairly low. Luckily that's a small burner, so I can't be tempted to be impatient and turn it up. And really just heat stirring, letting all the ingredients melt into one another and sort of fuse. Now, it is quite strong, you can imagine that the extra virgin olive oil is quite peppery. The anchovy is very salty, and of course garlic, especially grated raw like that, it tends to be pungent. So I'm just going to get a whisk and start adding butter, which has to be very good and unsalted. And this is what balances the flavours of the garlic, anchovies, olive oil, and really adds a sort of tenderness, a creaminess. You want to go fairly slowly because you want to incorporate the butter gradually so it doesn't just get runny, but it gets glossy and slightly thicker. And although it's meant to be for dipping vegetables in, it's quite useful as a sauce. I quite like it just drizzled over a bit of steak or kind of char-grilled lamb. I mean, anchovy and lamb goes very well. And just beautiful smelling. I'm just going to degrease. And now, particular joy of the whole bagna cauda experience. The spirit burner, if I were really lucky, I'd be doing this in a fondue set, but still. The point is you want this to keep warm so it doesn't start splitting, and then people can mill around the garden, dipping things in, and you can be cool about it. Now, it's completely up to you what vegetables you dip in, but I mean chicory particularly. There's something about the bitterness. I love these sorts of tastes. Fabulous. May the dip return. I love halloumi, which is this, a hard, sharp Greek cheese. It's at its best, just sliced and fried in an oilless pan. You don't need any fat, or griddled or grilled. I like this with these chili peppers, just sort of chopped up very fine, left to soak in oil a bit, and then sprinkled over with a bit of lemon juice, because that's sort of a great balance of the sharp and the fiery. But if you want something very mild and sweet, just de-seed. I'm going to put some olive oil, really lovely thick green olive oil, in here. Chilies go in there and they kind of sit around sousing a bit. before dressing the halloumi, which I think needs to be turned now. Have a look. That's perfect. That won't take long. Oh, so beautiful. Now, no, I'm not going to do something stupid. One of the difficulties about wearing contact lenses is that if you forget and you've been touching chili, you are in trouble. So, excuse me. And then all I have to do is just sprinkle with this wonderful red chili. Spritz with lemon juice and take it out of the garden. This is something else which is perfect for picking food at parties. Union Square Cafe nuts. These are sort of mixed nuts, Brazils, walnuts, hazelnuts, pecans, almonds, unpeeled almonds very importantly. I've roasted them just to get all their sort of aromatic flavour. And as I said, they're spice nuts, and the spice mixture is really quite simple. It's some dark muscovado sugar, about 2 teaspoons. I just have to tell you that this treatment takes a nut into a completely different dimension. About the same amount of salt, I need something to counter that treacly sweetness. 2 teaspoons, a tablespoonful. Just scrunch it up a bit so that it's not too coarse. And for heat, cayenne pepper, really as much or as little as you want. And then, and this makes just such a difference, some finely chopped fresh rosemary. I mean, about 2 tablespoons worth, were you to measure it, which I don't suggest you do. And you know, I first had these at the Union Square Cafe in New York. It was sort of one of those really hot Manhattan nights, and I went in and had a glass of cold beer, and I was sitting at the bar, and they have these dotted about the bar, and may I say, you have 1 bit of these, and that's it, you're lost. If you haven't got fresh rosemary, I wouldn't use dried here, I have to say. You could always use a dried herb that would be better at that, like some dried thyme, maybe. Right, that should be fine enough now. You want it fairly fine. Add this to the spices. Now mix this together just so that when the spices coat the nuts, it's sort of equally distributed, not just clumps of sugar in parts and salt in others. Wow, beautiful. Heat on, and about a tablespoonful of butter, I mean not much. Tools. So let the butter melt, just add the spice mixture and turn it around a bit just so that it's all over. And then the nuts, this is cool enough now, so just turn them in this aromatic butter so that they're sort of slicked and lightly covered. You can see the speckles of rosemary as well, how beautiful. These are really wonderful, you know, when you've got friends coming out to supper and you haven't got time to do the first course. I mean, just put these on the table and everyone's happy, and to be honest, they are so fabulous. You could probably dispense with the main course as well. From spice nuts to pudding, everyone ecstatic. Beautiful. I mean, look, got their lovely bronzy gold colours against the silver of these bowls. How unfortunate that I'm spilling them. I just have to pick them up and eat them in a minute. I present to you, beautiful or what? Barbecuing is the great American culinary art, so it's not surprising that the contribution to the literature comes mainly stateside. It's one of my favourite books, Licence to Grill, which is a rather fabulous book, which I read a lot, mostly in the rain, dreaming of barbecuing, but there you go. This is really barbecuing for people who use grilling as a way of communing with nature, and unfortunately I just commune with a gas cylinder. Another American book which I love, The Barbecue Bible. This is one of my favourite chapters, Bird Meets Grill. If you can see this picture, the sort of whole parade the spatchcock chickens, and that's really the way I like to cook my chicken on the grill. I mean, not that many of them, unfortunately, but come rain or shine, I can be at my grill with a spatchcock chicken or two. Once you've spatchcocked like a chicken or a quail, in other words, you just cut it down one side and open it flat. It takes much less time to cook. Basically what you're doing is cutting either side of the spine. I find scissors easier, but I mean, if you want a knife, I'm too clumsy to be safe with a knife. Right, and then I just want to take that bit of spine out, so this is the other side. It's terrible how curiously satisfying I find this noise and feeling. But then I like a bit of dismemberment in the evening. There we are. And that's, just lean on it. The marinade for the chicken is fairly simple. Lemon juice, peppercorns, garlic, olive oil. Not extra virgin, ordinary. So that's it, ready for tomorrow. I'm going to have to do a bit of barbecuing in the rain. English summer, welcome to it. Anyway, so I spatchcocked this chicken. It'll take about 25 minutes just as well, because the idea of being out here for an hour, even with my umbrella wrangler, isn't much fun.